All right, ready to dive deep.
Always.
Today, we're tackling a sign that's anything BUT one-dimensional.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Geminis.
Naturally.
And let me tell you, unlocking what makes them tick,
Yeah,
it's a fascinating journey.
it really is.
We're dissecting an online article
Okay.
called Gemini Personality Traits from Zodiac Fusion.
I've seen this one.
It's got a playful vibe,
Yeah,
which feels very on brand for Geminis, don't you think?
it certainly does. And
Yeah.
that playfulness actually hints at something crucial about Geminis.
Okay.
There's always more than meets the eye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty,
Okay.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
When you hear Gemini, what's the first word that pops into your mind?
Oh, that's a good one.
Hold on to that thought as we unpack this, because
Okay.
it might surprise you how much depth there is to uncover.
Absolutely. Now, this source jumps right into the classic Gemini symbolism, the twins.
Right. The twins.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
It's not about being two-faced, as some might joke.
Right.
It's about this inherent duality within Geminis,
Okay.
a constant interplay of different thoughts, ideas, and perspectives.
So they're complex.
They're multifaceted,
Okay.
always buzzing with energy.
Okay, let's unpack this duality thing.
Okay.
It's more than just being indecisive.
Right. Think of it like having a constant internal debate club happening in their heads.
Oh, wow.
And this is where that air sign element comes in.
Okay.
Geminis are all about mental agility,
Mm-hmm.
constantly seeking stimulation and new information.
They get bored easily.
They don't just dip their toes in the water. They want to dive into the deep end of every experience.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The source highlights versatility and communication as key Gemini strengths.
Definitely.
But what I find fascinating is
Yeah.
that these aren't just surface traits.
Right.
They stem from a Gemini's ability to rapidly process information and make connections others might miss.
It's true.
This is why they often excel at things like problem solving or creative fields.
Right.
They bring together seemingly disparate ideas in novel ways.
Precisely. And their communication isn't just about talking.
Yeah.
It's about wit, charm,
Right.
and that ability to find common ground with almost anyone.
It's effortless the way they do it.
They genuinely love to connect with others. And
Yeah.
that energy, it's infectious.
So it's not just what they say, but how they say it. Right.
Exactly.
They have a way of drawing people in
Yes.
almost effortlessly, just like the article describes.
However,
Okay.
there's always another side to every coin.
Right.
And with Geminis, that playful energy
Yeah.
can sometimes flip into restlessness
Okay.
or even indecision.
Yeah, the source does mention that.
It's true.
Is it because their minds are always racing?
Yeah.
Considering a million different angles at once?
You hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
That constant need for stimulation can make it hard for them to settle on just one thing, one path,
Yeah.
or even one opinion for too long.
So we've talked about how Geminis are natural communicators, but how does that translate into their closest relationships? Because as you can imagine, someone with such a quick mind needs a certain kind of connection to truly thrive.
You're absolutely right.
Right.
The source emphasizes that intellectual connection
Okay.
is paramount
Yeah.
for Geminis in romantic relationships.
Okay.
Forget about boredom or stagnation.
Right.
Those are deal breakers for this sign.
So they need a partner who can challenge them mentally.
Yes.
Someone who can keep up with their ever-evolving interests.
Precisely.
Okay.
And this is where that duality we were talking about earlier comes into play again.
Okay.
The source mentions Libra as a potential good match for Gemini,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Right.
Libra brings balance and harmony, those air sign synergies.
Right. That classic air sign connection.
Yeah.
But then the article throws a bit of a curveball.
Okay.
It does.
What's that?
They suggest Aries
Aries.
as another potential match,
Interesting.
which at first glance might seem surprising.
I could see that.
After all, Aries is all about fiery energy and bold action.
Yeah.
A stark contrast to Libra's diplomacy.
Total opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe our Gemini needs that Libra energy to have those deep conversations and find a sense of equilibrium.
Yes.
But they also crave that Aries spark
Okay.
to ignite their adventure side and keep things exciting.
So it's like they need both ends of that spectrum?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
It highlights the multifaceted nature of compatibility. There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
It's true.
Even within the seemingly straightforward categories of astrology.
Right. Exactly.
And speaking of unexpected pairings,
Okay.
the article also brings up a friendship to tread carefully sign,
Uh-oh.
Cancer.
Cancer?
Now, on the surface,
Yeah.
this one threw me for a loop.
It is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
You might not immediately see the conflict.
No.
After all, cancers are known for their loyalty and empathy.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
they also have a deep need for emotional security
Okay.
and often communicate through feelings
Yeah.
rather than logic.
Which, as we've established,
Right.
isn't exactly how Geminis operate.
Totally different.
They lead with their intellect.
Right.
Always analyzing and dissecting.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to emotions.
Yeah, precisely.
Right.
So
Yeah.
while a Gemini-Cancer friendship isn't impossible,
Okay.
it requires both individuals to be mindful of their differences
Right.
and find ways to bridge that gap.
Right. They have to work at it.
It's about recognizing and respecting
Okay.
those fundamental differences in communication
Right.
and emotional needs.
It makes you wonder how Geminis navigate other areas of life.
Yeah.
Like work or
Yeah.
creative pursuits.
Right.
Do they bring that same need for intellectual stimulation and connection to everything they do?
That's a great question.
Right.
And it's something the article touches on
Okay.
when it dives into how to connect with the Gemini
Okay.
in different contexts.
Right.
Whether it's love, friendship,
Right.
or even a business setting.
Because let's be real.
Right.
Understanding a Gemini's astrological profile is one thing,
Okay.
but actually connecting with them,
Yeah.
building a strong and lasting bond,
Right.
requires a bit more finesse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thankfully,
Okay.
the article offers some helpful pointers
Okay.
for anyone looking to build a genuine connection with a Gemini.
So before the break, we were diving into that whole how-to
Right.
of connecting with Geminis.
Yeah.
It's like understanding their astrological blueprint is one thing,
Yeah.
but how do you actually translate that into a genuine connection?
Right. Because knowing and connecting,
Yeah,
those are two different beasts, aren't they?
totally.
The article really emphasizes that
Yeah.
Geminis, they're not looking for passive bystanders in their lives.
Okay, so you got to be engaged.
They crave active engagement,
Okay.
intellectual sparring,
Right.
and a good dose of laughter to boot.
So less nodding along politely
Right.
and more, let's debate the merits of pineapple on pizza for 3 hours.
Well, maybe not that extreme,
Okay.
but you've hit on something important. The source specifically talks about
Yeah.
engaging a Gemini's intellect.
Okay, so how do we do that?
It's about showing genuine curiosity
Okay.
in their latest obsession,
Right.
whether it's ancient philosophy or experimental jazz fusion.
So instead of glazing over when they launch into their latest fascination,
Right.
I should be asking questions,
Yeah.
sharing my own thoughts,
Exactly.
maybe even playfully challenging their perspective.
Geminis thrive on that back and forth. That meeting of the minds.
Right.
They want to know you're invested in their world, their ideas.
Right.
Even if you don't agree on everything.
Makes sense. But there's a balancing act here, right?
There always is.
Because as much as they love connecting,
Yeah.
Geminis also need their space
Yes, they do.
to explore and recharge.
Trying to put a Gemini in a box.
Right.
It's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work.
So no guilt trips if they bail on movie night
Exact.
to wander around an antique bookstore.
Precisely.
Okay.
Give them the freedom to indulge their curiosity.
Okay.
And don't take it personally.
Right.
It's part of what makes them so captivating.
Right. And of course, we can't forget about that Gemini wit.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah,
The article mentions humor as a key ingredient for connecting with this sign.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Life with a Gemini is rarely boring, to say the least.
it's true.
They see the humor in everything.
Right.
And truly appreciate someone who can laugh along with them.
Right.
Or even better,
Yeah.
make them laugh.
It's about meeting them on that playful level,
Yes.
appreciating their unique brand of humor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this whole deep dive,
Yeah.
it got me thinking about something the article mentioned toward the end.
Okay.
The idea of combining Western and Eastern zodiacs
Right.
for a more nuanced perspective.
They even included that table
Yeah.
linking Gemini with all the Chinese zodiac animals.
Talk about a rabbit hole of possibility.
I know, right?
It's a great reminder that astrology, much like life, is full of layers.
It's true.
We've unpacked one perspective on Geminis,
Right.
but it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
There's always more to explore, more to learn,
It's true.
and that's what makes these deep dives so rewarding.
So we've explored the intricate world of Geminis,
We have.
their strengths, their quirks, and what makes them tick.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
But before we wrap up,
Yes.
there's one final thought I want to leave you with.
Okay.
The article listed a bunch of famous Geminis.
Oh, right.
Everyone from artists to entrepreneurs
Yeah.
to, well, Elon Musk.
Naturally.
Does knowing someone's sign,
Yeah.
even in a lighthearted context like this,
Yeah.
change how you perceive them?
That's interesting.
Do their achievements seem more or less impressive,
Mm-hmm.
more or less Gemini,
Right.
because you're viewing them through that astrological lens?
It really makes you think.
It's something interesting to ponder as you go about your day.
Because ultimately, these deep dives aren't just about horoscopes.
Right.
They're about gaining a deeper understanding of ourselves and those around us.
It's true.
Embracing all the complexities that make us human.
Right.
And maybe having a few laughs along the way.
And that's what we're here for.
Exactly.